I'm Dr. Benjamin F. Chavis Jr.
On this episode of the Chavis Chronicles, using big tech as a tool to fight for social justice and accountability in the Black community. Tech entrepreneur James A. Samuel and Arisha Hatch, Vice President of Color of Change.
Next on the Chavis Chronicles.
Welcome to the Chavis Chronicles, James A. Samuel Jr.
Thank you for having me on the show. It's a great honor to be here.
I want to talk about your career.
Yes, sir.
You were a fighter pilot.
That's correct.
One of the few African-American fighter pilots. Talk to us about your military career.
I went to the Air Force Academy, and I graduated from there with a degree in engineering, and I went into the Air Force as an engineer first. And so I was a telecommunications engineer, radio spectrum frequency management engineer before going to pilot training. And then from pilot training, I went to fly the F-15. So I flew the F-15. It was an honor of a lifetime. I remember right after 9/11, one of the most memorable times flying, and the airspace was just completely devoid of all radio traffic and all air traffic. And the severity of that time in that moment, that will always remain with me.
So you take that military training, that military expertise. Now you're a civilian, you're an entrepreneur, but you're taking that knowledge that you and the experience you had in the military and put it to not only peaceful use, but productive use.
I have over 30 years of experience in national security. And by the way, these comments are my own. These are not reflective of the Department of Defense, right? These are my own comments as a citizen of the United States. But when you apply all of that knowledge and learning, both as an engineer, as a geospatial analyst, as a problem solver in national security, and then you take that same tradecraft and knowledge and you apply it towards personal security, there's lots of transference. There's lots of things that I've learned and done and seen and experienced and led in my federal service that applies directly to helping keep now this community safe, our community safe, and other communities safe. So whereas I have been trained and steeped in national security, I'm now transferring that to personal security and to community security. And our technology is a part of that.
Tell us about the company.
Orbis Incorporated is a big data geospatial analytics company. I founded in 2019. We're here in the Northern Virginia area, and our mission is to ensure and to help people have a better quality of life, and based on who they are, help them find the safety and the services they need.
So your company has developed this unique app. What is the name of the app?
That's Angel with a J, ANJEL. In Angel, we have a commercial side and we have a corporate side. On the commercial side, it's called ANJEL Tech. And so it's a live streaming personal security system. You can think of it as your own personal body camera. And so if you or your loved ones are ever in a situation where you feel unsafe or you're unsure that you're going to be okay, you'll stream with Angel, and instead of streaming to your personal or social media account, you'll stream right to your loved ones. And they will be able to see your stream. They'll be able to know where you are because Angel tells them exactly where you are. It updates your location in the next version that's coming out here in the next week or so, every 10 seconds, but the map is there now. And they can download that footage and share it. They'll have that footage right then and there for the accountability that they need to ensue.
My personal cell phone
Yes.
can also be my protection.
It is your personal body camera. Instead of trying to either litigate or ask for the footage of what happened to you, your family will have that live. They can see what is happening. They'll know where you are. They'll probably be able to infer why it's happening to you. They'll be given routing instructions that help them go from where they are to where you are. And it all happens in real time, and it's securely stored in the cloud. So if anything happens to you or your phone, they still have this footage, and then they can pursue accountability.
When did you develop this technology?
Well, we started developing it last year, as a matter of fact. We were developing another technology, which is a 21st century version of the Green Book. We're picking up on the work that Victor Hugo Green did back in the 30s to the 60s. This was a feature inside of that app. And we were already developing that app and this feature when on the 25th of May, when George Floyd was murdered, that changed everything. Those 8 minutes and 46 seconds that he was on the ground, calling for his deceased mother, changed me as a father, it changed our world, it changed the nation. And we took Angel, which was a feature in this other technology, out, made it its own separate technology, and then launched it in the App Store in October and in Android here in January of 21.
That's great. I wish, as I listen to you, Brother Samuels, I wish Sandra Bland would have had this technology. I wish Trayvon Martin would have had this technology. Talk to us about how it works and how it can bring that protection for those who have it on their cell phone.
If Trayvon Martin, for example, if he had had this technology, as soon as he recognized that he was being followed by someone that he didn't know, he would have started streaming. As a 14-year-old, he'll have his cell phone, he starts streaming on Angel. His parents, being his viewers, would then get a text, they'll get an email, and the app. Those 3 different ways they'll be notified that, hey, your child needs you to know right now what's going on with them and where they are. And so as that event unfolded, they would have known, okay, I see someone's following him, I see his location on the map, I see that he is only 10 minutes from me or 3 minutes from me, I'm gonna start making my way in that direction. And I'm gonna text him, hold on, and he can read your text in there, I'll be right there, stay safe, remember the talk, and we'll come back to the talk, I hope in a moment. We'll be right there. And so then that whole situation would have been different. His parents would have arrived, this person pursuing him for whatever reason would have had other factors to contend with.
It would have mitigated, and then we would have had a record of what actually happened.
Correct. Instead of the neighbors saying, I heard screaming, instead of the first person account of the person who lived from that encounter, I won't mention their name, we would have had a record of that was securely stored in the cloud. His parents would have known it was happening in real time, and they would have known where their baby was at that time. And we are here to help make sure that parents, moms in particular, Black moms, because that's where we're starting with our own community, can help and ensure that their children meet those life's milestones, that they can learn how to ride a bike and play outdoors, as was the case of Tamir Rice, right? That they can go to prom, which Trayvon Martin never saw his prom, he was 14, right? That they can meet the love of their life, they can go to college, they can buy a home, they can have their own family, they can meet all of that promise and that potential of a human life. If you can't preserve your life, you can't then have liberty or pursue happiness, so that we can preserve those lives and help those milestones actually happen.
I'm sure you know that most parents, when their male or female teenagers start to drive, we all have to have that talk with our children.
Yes.
Not only about driving safely, but being careful, particularly if you're pulled over by law enforcement.
Yes.
And it seems to me that you've developed an app that could be so helpful to families to avoid stress, to avoid worrying, and to enable the family to stay in touch when times of difficulty may arise.
Yes, it's that leaving the nest moment, right? And so we're still talking about the community version. I want to talk about the corporate, the campus version as well for college campuses, because that's another stressful part. As your children are matriculating through life and they're leaving the nest and they're going out into the world, there's a lot of stress for parents, especially when they start to drive. And so if you empower your child first with the knowledge, you have that talk, right? It is the talk. We all know what that talk is, how to stay alive, how to stay safe. And sadly, we start having that talk as African Americans with our children when they are 3 and 4 and 5 and 6. They start noticing the differences in treatment of themselves and others, even there in preschool. It's documented in preschool and in elementary school. And so we start trying to help them understand the world in which they're living and the rules of that world at a very early age. Before they learn their alphabets and their ABCs, they're forced to learn how to live within their skin, right? And so that talk is since they're very, very small. When they start to drive, now it is how to interact with police officers, right? Those in authority over you, how to be respectful, but also how to know your rights, and to give them a tool to go with that talk that every parent gives their child to help them stay safe. We give them the knowledge. We've developed a tool to also go with that knowledge so that they can employ that tool in that moment, so their parents can have eyes on what's happening, so the parents can know where they are, so that that's stored securely in the cloud. If anything happens to them or their phone, the parents still have that record, and that parents can download it and pursue accountability if need be, so the parents can know where they are when it's happening and can know, hey, they're right around the corner. Most of these events happen close to home. Elijah McClain in Aurora last year was walking home from the convenience store. Trayvon Martin was walking home from the convenience store. Even before they're driving, they're walking. Mike Brown was walking, to and from a convenience store. And so having the knowledge, having the insights, the national security insights I've been generating for 30 years, I'm now generating those same insights for parents in a commercial sphere and sector so they can know what's happening, where it's happening, when it's happening, and where they are in relation to that, and have it all securely stored in the cloud. That's what our technology is doing.
Talked about the career opportunities in data and technology for African Americans and other people of color moving forward.
I would like to encourage all of your listeners and viewers, especially if they look like me, to know that they can do more than they've ever dreamt or believed they can do, to believe in themselves, to dream really big, don't put any limits on themselves, and to pursue big goals because they can make it.
Well, you're certainly a living role model on what the possibilities of STEM and STEAM are, and we wish you the best. James A. Samuel, Jr., thank you very much for joining the Chavis Chronicles.
Thank you for having me, sir.